Stories 3 has been announced, and it's been announced for a while. It's coming out in a couple months. This is a video I've wanted to put out forever, and I've been very stressed lately, so I decided I needed to take my mind off of it. So, I decided to make a Stories tier list. I am going to base this off of 4 main criteria, and that's going to be the element of the monster, the stats of the monster, the rarity of the monster, and what its kinship attack does, specifically if it's a single target, multi-target, if it has ailments, things like that. This is not a super definitive tier list, but it is something that I've been working on for a very long time, and I think I have a general idea of where I want everything to go. So, without further ado, then we will get right into the tier list. Okay, so, I have been working on this tier list for a very long time. I have rough drafts, I have notes, I have a spreadsheet, which you will be seeing soon. I have been working on this tier list for a very long time, and I had just been really lazy with it, and I'm stressed as balls right now, so I decided, screw it, I'm just going to make a tier list, because why not? So, I'm going to be looking over at my screen a lot, because this is where I have my draft. I just kind of want to talk about all the monsters that I've put in here, and kind of revamping it a little bit, so it'll change a little bit, and I'll cut out the flub when I'm just rambling on and on about random crap, whatever. First and foremost, though, we have our herbivore tier list. I haven't done anything with the herbivores, and I know that I know you can do some weird, crazy shenanigans. Like, I know there's a video floating out there where someone beat, like, a Fatalis with an Aptonoth or something. It was freaking absurd. I haven't used them, so I don't really know much about them, how to use them, what you'd want to do with them. So I just put them in their own separate tier list because I just didn't want to deal with it. You're going to notice a trend in this video about specifically elements, and as well as subspecies. If a subspecies is going to be element sharing, it is automatically going to be better. This is just reflected from the stats. So, for example, like white Monoblos is always going to be better than normal Monoblos because it just has a higher stat spread. It's just better in every way. That's just the way it goes. This is the same for every single element sharing subspecies. The ones that don't share an element will be a little bit different, but that's the criteria, like I said at the beginning of the video, the things that I'm going to be basing this off of. So let's go ahead and get started. Right off the bat, in our struggles tier list, we are going to have, okay, I had to refresh my page because for some reason they were out of order. I'm going to put these monsters in the back right away. Unfortunately, these are our struggles monsters. We have Baroth, Royal Luderoth, and by extension, where are you, Purple Luderoth, as well as normal Quetzalwacha. The problem with these monsters is that they are water monsters, and this is kind of where you'll see the trend in the elements. Water monsters are not blessed in this game. They really struggle. They don't have a lot of things to work with, and I mean, I've built a Purple Luderoth, and I actually really enjoy using it, and my brother has built a Baroth. It's just they're water monsters. They're really struggling. I think all 4 of them also have kinship attacks that are multi-hitboxes, and this is my tier list specifically for co-op dens, which is very much not reflective on a lot of the things, right? Like, you can do whatever the crap you want with pretty much any monster in a co-op den. It doesn't really matter that much. When I make my arena tier list, though, it's going to be very different. I have an announcement about the arena tier list later when I get to that point. But so here's our problem. If we go down to like Purple Luderoth, okay, so it is a single target, so this is actually really good. This means, so what single target and multi-target means is that in a den, if it is a single target, this means you can target specific parts, and it means that you can also land a critical hit. So when, you know, if you're fighting, I don't know, like a Bolt Reaver Astalos, and it starts flying, and you can hit the wings to knock it down, these kinship attacks that have single target are what is going to allow you to get a topple. You can target the wings, you can break the wings, and you can get your topple out of it. So Purple Luderoth and Royal Luderoth have that going for them. Purple Luderoth also causes poison, and it also, normal Luderoth causes enemy attack reduction, which is both pretty good. I think the poison is going to be better, and again, it's a subspecies anyway, so it's going to be better stat-wise anyways. So the single targets are definitely better. Baroth, I'm pretty sure, is a multi-hitbox. No, Baroth is also a single hitbox with water, so Baroth's better than I initially thought. Quetzalwacha is a multi-target So here's where the problem lies. Quechua is the fastest of these monsters, of these water monsters, with 7 speed. Nope. I did that last time I tried to do this too. With 11 speed, 7 crit rate. That's actually pretty fast, all things considered. It's not great. If it was 12, honestly, Quechua might be in the okay tier. I'm actually going to move Quechua down to the bottom just because of its kinship attack. If it wasn't a multi-hitbox, Quechua would easily be up top, but because it is a multi-hitbox, you can't target parts, you can't get a critical hit. This monster isn't going to be doing great things. So, okay, this next batch of monsters in the Strugglers tier list is going to be a little bit convoluted. Right off the bat, though, I'm going to kind of build my way down. These are the monsters that I think are going to be the best for the Struggles tier list. They're still going to struggle. This is going to be Gendrome. This is going to be Iodrome. This is going to be... where are you? Great Baggy. Great Jaggy. Velocidrome. I don't think Great Baggy does cause sleep. Okay, so... so all these monsters are single hit targets, which is very good because, like I said, they can crit, they can target specific parts. So all of these monsters are very good. Gendrome causes paralysis on the enemy. Iodrome causes poison. Great Baggy causes sleep. Jaggy and Velocidrome are raw damage, so they're not going to be doing as much damage. But these 3 in particular are going to be doing statuses, which is very, very powerful, and they're singular targets. They don't have the best stat spread. I think their speed is okay. Let's see here, Great Baggy. Yeah, speed 11 for the Dino monsters. It's not too bad. Gendrome actually has 12, which is very good. Where's Iodrome? Iodrome also has 12. So the 3 Dromes have 12 speed, and the Jaggy Baggy have 11. So I'm actually going to put Velocidrome over Great Jaggy. I would probably do it exactly like this for the co-op dens. I think that's probably where the top of this list is going to be. And we're just going to build backwards from here. Next is going to be, where are you? Boldrome, believe it or not. I think I'm going to put here next. Boldrome, it's not good. It has actually really lackluster stats at 10 speed, 5 crit. It does have an okay attack power, not great, but it is a single target hitbox. No effects, but, you know, we'll take what we can get. After that, we've got Arzuros. Arzuros is another single target hitbox. No conditions, no status conditions that it inflicts. It is the same speed, but has less crit and less attack, so it's just Boldrome's going to be better compared to Arzuros. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. Okay, following Arzuros, I'm going to put in Cephadrome. Cephadrome is a multi-target hitbox for its kinship attack, but it gives blind, which is a not very common status to give, but it is very good. It lowers accuracy, and that is very, very crucial, especially if you're running like an evade thing, because then your evade goes up even higher because their accuracy lows as their accuracy falls, your evasion heightens. So Cephadrome inflicting blind is pretty good. It's also a raw monster. It's not a water monster. I made that mistake the first time I was trying to put together this tier list, as I was thinking it was a water monster. It is not. Following Cephadrome is going to be Emerald Congalala and Normal Congalala. This is the instance I was talking about where subspecies that are element sharing, the subspecies is going to be better. The thing that makes Emerald Congalala and Normal Congalala's kinship attack interesting is it's a multi-target, and it causes 2 of any combination of these statuses. So it's either poison and sleep, poison and para and sleep, and it causes 2 of those, but it's a multi-target. If this was a singular target, honestly, these monsters would probably go up in okay, but because they're a multi-target, it kind of falls off a little bit, kind of eats their lunch a little bit. Their stats aren't the best. They've got 10 speed, 5 crit, not the best attack either. So they're gonna struggle a little bit. It is what it is, but the status is very nice to have, but that's just something to be thoughtful of about when you're trying to use this. After that, we're gonna put in Kulu and Palumu. I actually don't know which one of these is gonna be better, so let's look at the stats real fast. Palumu is going to be at 10 speed, 3 crit. Kulu is going to be at... Where'd you go? So they're like the same. Okay, Kulu does have higher attack though, so Kulu is going to be better than Palumu by just a little bit. They're both multi-hits. Their kinships don't inflict any sort of status whatsoever. So they're just raw multi-hit damages. It's not really that good, but, you know, it's fine for what they can do. Okay, I went slightly out of order here. I wanted to put in both Gypsaros here in front of the Kulu and the Palumu, because the Gypsaros, again, element sharing subspecies. The purple one's going to be better, but their thing is that they can cause poison on the enemy. Poison is a very good status for co-op dens, not quite as good as Para or Blind, but this is still very good, so definitely better than the rest of them, but not by too much. You can make them work, but, and I mean, raw element is really good. Elementless is actually one of the better ways to do damage, and I'll talk about that in a little bit, but that's pretty much it. Okay, our next tier is the OK tier list. These are monsters that work a little bit better, and they're a lot easier to work with. They have better stats and better elements, as you will see. Unfortunately, at the bottom of this list, we're going to talk about Mizu. Mizu makes me very, very sad. I love this monster, and this monster is actually pretty good stat-wise. 11 speed, I wish it was higher, but 8 crit's pretty good. 600 HP, pretty decent water attack, but it's a water monster. This monster is not going to be having a good time with builds, and you can't change its element like you could in Stories 1, so you're stuck with water. It's very, very unfortunate. After Mizu, I think I'm going to put in Zamtrios and Barioth. Barioth is faster than Zamtrios, but both of them have a multi-hitbox kinship attack that doesn't inflict any statuses. So they're just ice, and ice isn't the best. I'll talk about this more in my arena tier list, but ice isn't very good in the co-op dens, but in the arena, ice really, really shines. Ice is very good in the arena, but not so good in the dens. So a lot of the ice monsters are going to be a little bit lower. Following Barioth, I want to do Kazoos, both the red and the normal. Obviously, red is going to be better because it is the subspecies. These monsters have a multi-hitbox kinship attack, but it does cause para, which is pretty good. The problem is that they're pretty early game monsters, so their stats are a little lackluster, but you can still make them work okay. I would always use the red one over the normal one. It's just going to be better in every way. The para is very nice. I wish it wasn't a multi-hit. If it wasn't a multi-target, honestly, the Kazoos would probably be in good, but they are going to be struggling because of that. That's really going to be holding them back. Following the Kazoos, I'm going to put in the normal Nursilla. This is very strange to me, and I'll talk about this in a moment. Normal Nursilla is, for some reason, leagues worse than its subspecies counterpart. Like, normally the subspecies counterpart is just, like, a little bit better. They're, like, practically the same monster, but just, like, a little bit better. That's not the case for Nursilla and Shredded Nursilla. I'll talk about that later. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it goes. Okay, following Nursilla, we're going to do Ash Kachawacha. Ash Kachawacha is a multi-target with no effects. So it is fire. Fire is the best element in the game in both arena and co-op dens. You have a lot of things that you can do with fire. So this monster is a fire monster. It's going to be doing very, very well. It's just a multi-hitbox, or not a multi-hitbox, a multi-target attack. So it's going to struggle a little bit. Its stats aren't that great either, which is very unfortunate. But that's just the way it is. Following Ash Kachawacha is going to be the Kutkus. So blue Kutku and normal Kutku. Blue's going to be better because it's an element sharing subspecies. Their stats, I don't think, are the best things in the world because they are a very early game monster. 5 crit, 11 speed, not that great fire attack, pretty low HP. Like, these monsters are not going to be having the best of times. But they are fire monsters, so they do better than a lot of these other ones in the Struggles tier list. Okay, following the Kutkus, we are going to do Basarios and Ruby Basarios. These are multi-hitting kinship attacks with para for their condition, and it's fire damage. So that's a very good combination, fire and poison. That's going to be doing a lot of damage. very good things out of these monsters. These monsters are also very beefy. They're going to live for a while. I think they had decent HP, at least, if I remember right. Basarios. Yeah, 581 HP. Pretty good. Very low crit rate. Very low speed. But they're going to be living for a while. They've got pretty good resistances. So the problem is with co-op dens is you don't really want survivability, you want damage, right? You want to dish out as much damage as you can to one singular thing, because the den boss is what you're trying to beat. You're not trying to beat two separate monsters, unless if it's like a Zenogre of some sorts where they can summon like bugs or something. Pretty much, I'm gonna say 10 times out of 10, you're just looking for single target damage dealers, and so Basarios being a multi-target and a beefy multi-target, it's not going to do as good as other monsters. And I would say probably the best one... Okay, Lagambi, I forgot to talk about Lagambi. Lagambi is a single-hit ice monster. It's going to go... I'm going to put it above Barioth and Zamtrios just because of that, but not by much. Barioth is probably... no, I'm going to put Barioth better, because Barioth is going to be faster and dealing more damage. Lagambi is just a single-hit target, which would be very nice if Barioth had that, but we do not have such luxury. The last one I was going to talk about was Korapeko. This is my goat. No, this monster is pretty good. Its counterpart is a lot better, which is kind of strange because they don't share elements. You would think that would be the other way around after I just said that fire was the best element in the game. It's not really so much the case with the Korapekos, but, you know, it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. In the good tier list, these are monsters that are going to be exactly what the tier says. They're going to be good. They are still going to be outclassed by a lot of the other monsters, but these monsters are going to be easy to work with and able to do what you need them to do on a decently consistent level. For this, I'm going to talk about, for starters, I'm going to talk about Legiana and Gameth. I have a Legiana, and I really enjoy using my Legiana because I built it as a Heroics Vengeful Ice Drill. So when it gets to low HP, you can just use your Ride On, and then you can just keep winning your head-to-heads and keep using Vengeful Ice Drill and just never die and always be dealing all that Heroics damage. It's very powerful, but very risky, and it's a pretty early-ish monster, and so it doesn't really have the best stat spread. The main thing that's holding it back is its kinship attack. It is a multi-hit, so multi-hit with no effect, and that's the same thing with Gameth. Gameth is the slowest monster in the game, I think with the lowest crit rate in the game. 1 crit, 9 speed. It is the lowest crit and the lowest speed. It does have 647 HP, which I believe is the highest HP in the game. But again, with dens, you're not looking for survivability, you're looking for kill power, you're looking for attack, element, anything like that. These monsters just don't really have that much of it. Okay, another monster with a multi-hitbox for its kinship attack is Tobi Kadachi. A little bit better because it's a thunder monster. Thunder's like the exact middle of the elements. It's pretty good. It's not great, but it's not terrible. It's like the perfect middle ground. Tobi Kadachi does have a multi-hitbox, like I said, but it doesn't have any extra status effects. So it's not really that good. It's going to be hindered a lot by that. After Tobi Kadachi, I'm going to put the Rathians here, both normal and pink. These monsters have multi-target kinship attacks. They are fire, which is very nice, but it's just not quite enough. They are faster than the Rathalos, but not by a ton, and they are going to be struggling a little bit in the kill department. It is what it is. I wish that their kinship attack either did burn or poison, and it does neither, so it's not super great. After the Rathians, I'm going to put in the Diablos. Okay, the Diablos are next. They do have multi-target kinship attacks with no status. They are raw damage, which is pretty decent, but they're going to get kind of outshone by a few other things. So, you know, it is what it is. But they are powerful. Not quite as powerful as the Monoblos, but they are pretty good. I have a Black Diablos built, and I do actually enjoy using it. But I don't think I either didn't build it quite right, or it struggles more than I think it does, because my Black Diablos isn't that great. I wish it was, but it's just not. And that's just the way that it goes. After the Diablos, I'm going to put in Puke. Now, my brother built a Puke, and he loves this thing. And this thing actually works crazy. It's a very early game monster, but it's, like, really powerful. Like, really powerful. I don't know why this is, but my brother's Puke shreds. Even though it's a multi-target kinship attack, it does give poison, which is very nice. That's very useful in the co-op den. I don't know what it is about the Puke, but this thing kind of owns. Okay, following Puke is another multi-target monster, and that's going to be Sandbarioth. I really enjoy my Sandbarioth, but like my Black Diablos, I'm just not sure if I built it right or if I just haven't gotten it to its potential yet. But my Sandbarioth kind of struggles for some reason, and it's a little frustrating because I like my Sandbarioth, but it just struggles a lot. Has a multi-target kinship attack with no extra things. It's not super great, but it's okay. It's better than the other raw monsters, but not by too much. After that, we're gonna do the Gravios, both normal and Black Gravios, wherever the normal one is. Multi-target kinship attacks, beefy monsters. They are later stage monsters, so they do have a little bit better stat spread. It's just that kinship attack really that's holding them back. If they were a single target, or if they caused burn, they might be up here and really good. But they don't do either, so I think they're kind of struggling. And another monster with a multi-target is going to be Anjanath. Now, my Anjanath, I used the entirety of my game. Up until I got the online co-op dens, like the end game after I beat the final boss, whatever. I used my Anjanath all the way up until this point. And my Anjanath freaking stomped. This thing was so good. And what makes this thing very interesting is what its status is. After kinship attack, it gets a monsty attack increase. So it gets like a free like power charge or something for a few turns. That's very, very strong. That helps you buff up so you don't have to waste a turn following it on that. It does really suck that it's a multi-target, because I honestly would put it in really good if it wasn't a multi-target, but it is unfortunately a multi-target. And for a early game monster, this monster is really good. I kind of want to revamp him and rework my Anjanath a little bit better to be able to maybe perform in this really good tier list, but I haven't used it in so long, so it's just going to sit in good just because of how early it is. And its stats aren't great. I think it's a little on the slow side, or else like the crit's low. Yeah, 10 speed, 5 crit, not the best, but it does have pretty decent fire attack, pretty good HP, so not a bad monster. This monster is very good. I really did enjoy using my Anjanath. It's a very, very good monster. Okay, now we've got our two other water monsters, and that's going to be Soulseer and the Water Dog. I'm going to put the Water Dog ahead of Soulseer for the reason of it has the highest speed and crit in the game. Highest speed and crit in the game is 10 crit, 13 speed. This monster, I've built both of these, and my Water Dog is my favorite water monster to use. Granted, there's only like 7 of them, but I love my Water Dog, and I love my Soulseer. I just wish that there was more stuff for water genes, because then these monsters would probably... The Water Dog might even be in top 5 if there was more options, but it's a water monster. This monster is going to struggle a lot, which really is unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is. Okay, now we have our single target kinship attacks, as well as kind of our later game monsters, so these monsters are going to be kind of far outperforming the rest of these, to be honest, but, you know. So first we're going to talk about Crimson Korapeko. I built a Crimson Korapeko as a mega buff debuff support, and I built it specifically for the arenas. So this thing really excels in doubles arenas. I don't know how well it would do in a co-op den if I built it as an offense unit. I built it as a support unit just because it made sense. I liked the idea of, you know, Korapeko, a songbird, being able to buff and debuff, whatever. I don't know how well this monster is going to perform in attack status-wise, because it's not very fast, doesn't have very good crit rate, it's not great element attack power. Its kinship attack is a multi or a single hit though, which is very nice, but it doesn't have any status attached to it, so I'm not sure where to put Crimson Korapeko. I just put him in good because I really enjoy using this support debuff, buff and debuff bird. I think it's a lot of fun to use, but I'll have to build another one and find out exactly how good this monster is in a offensive setting, but right now this is where I have it. After Crimson Korapeko, we have another Thunder monster, which is going to be normal Zenogre. Normal Zenogre is very, very much outclassed by Thunderlord, and it's by a pretty large margin, actually. But Xeno is still good, but it's just why would you use Xeno over Thunderlord? Because Thunderlord is just so much better. It is a single target, which is very, very good. So that helps it out a lot. But otherwise, it's kind of lacking a little bit, unfortunately. Following Zenogre, I'm going to put in Nargacuga and Green Nargacuga. Now, if I added the field skill as another criteria, these monsters would be in really good because stealth is such a handy thing to have in co-op dens. But I didn't really think that that's the most important thing to base a tier list off of for a co-op den. I guess it would have been. I guess I should have, but you know, a lot of these monsters have fly or like nest searching or something like that. Like a few of them have roar, which is really good. A few of them have stealth, which is really good. A few of them have jump, which is really good. The most useless ones are ivy climb and dash, I would say, and obviously the searches. Fly and lava dive are like, and swim are like the worst ones, but they're not terrible otherwise. But anyways, stealth is a very handy skill, a very handy field skill, but these monsters, they are the fastest and have the highest crit rate in the game, but they are kind of lacking on the kill power. That is not the case with Silverwind, as you'll see in a little bit, but normal and Green Nargacuga, they do struggle a little bit. After that, I'm going to put in Shrouded Nursilla, and this is what I was talking about earlier with the Shrouded Nursilla. I really love my Shrouded Nursilla. I built my Shrouded Nursilla to be a status monster, so it can inflict so many different statuses. This monster is very strong, and like a lot more so than its normal counterpart. I don't really understand why that is, because its stats are pretty much the same. Granted, the attack stat and HP are just a little bit higher because it's a subspecies, but like, my Shrouded Nursilla is really, really powerful, and it's kind of crazy. It's not, if it was faster or if it had a higher crit rate, it would honestly probably go up to really good, but it's lacking those two things, and so it's struggling just a little bit on that department. But otherwise, I love my Shrouded Nursilla. I use this thing quite frequently. It's a very fun monster to use. After Shrouded Nursilla, I'm going to put in Uragon. Uragon is a fire monster with a single target kinship attack. I wish it had Burn on it or Blast Blight. It does not have either, though. It's just a single fire attack. But it is fire, so that's really good. The reason why it's not at the top of this list is because the other fire monsters outclass it, and there are a few raw monsters that I'm going to talk about that are just better than Uragon. So those monsters being... I've been tossing and turning on exactly the order I want to do, but I think I'm going to do Tigrex and Brute Tigrex here. These monsters have very high attack power, and I'm not sure about their speed and crit rate. Oops, wrong tab. 7 speed, 11 crit rate. That's not too bad. The other monster is going to be better, though, actually in quite a lot of different ways. So I like that I kind of guessed on this placing. Those two are going to be Monoblos and White Monoblos. These two are going to be better than the normal Tigrexes. Now, the hard thing about Tigrex is that there is 4 of them that all share the same element. They're all elementless monsters. I just feel like the rare species and the deviant species are just quite a lot better than the normal ones. I think it's just because that they're rare and deviant species. They have better stat spread. Because, I mean, their crit and speed are going to be pretty much the same, but their attack power is through the roof, you know, like a lot higher, a lot higher. Monoblos, obviously, was pretty much exactly the same. Monoblos does have 1 higher crit rate, though. I've built my White Monoblos. I haven't done a lot with it. I do like using it, but I haven't used it enough. to know if this thing should go in really good. I need to do more with it. It is a fun monster to use, and it is a single target kinship attack, which really helps it out a lot. The thing that makes... I don't think I really have much else raw monsters to go on this. Actually, I might not have any. So I have like 3 more raw monsters to talk about, but I'll just talk about this really quickly. Raw/elementless is a very interesting way to attack in this game because there is not a single monster that is resistant to elementless. They all have weaknesses to other elements, but not to raw. And so you kind of get this almost true damage sense with raw. Obviously it's not true damage because they do, you know, their resistances do fluctuate, but there's not a single monster that is weak to elementless. And so these monsters kind of have this thing going for them where they can just do damage and not worry about like resistances. That does kind of suck a little bit though because you don't get that additional damage, but you know, it is kind of nice to use them sometimes when, you know, if you have a raw monster and you take it to a deviant den and you have like, I don't know, a white Monobolos, I don't know, Soul Seer, and some other water monster, and then you have to fight like a Bolt Reaver or something, you can just use your white Monobolos. Happy days. Raw is doing pretty good. It's not quite as good as I would like it to be, but it is still very, very powerful. After Monobolos, I'm going to put in the Yangaruga. Yangaruga is... Actually, I'm going to put in the Rathalos below Yangaruga. I think Yangaruga is probably the best of this tier. Also, I need to make this known really quickly. There are 2 Rathalos icons here. I forgot to explain this at the beginning. There are 2 Rathalos icons. The reason for this being is that one of them is Ratha. The other one is just a normal Rathalos. Now, Ratha and Rathalos have different stats. Everything else is the same. Their kinship, I think their kinship attack is the same. They are both fire monsters. They're both Rathalos, but Ratha being, you know, an actual character monster has better stat value than a normal Rathalos does. So that's why there's 2 Rathalos. But the Azure Rathalos and normal Rathalos I'm going to put here. Because the normal Rathalos is a single target, same with the Azure Rathalos, but they don't have any sort of status effect. The Yangaruga gives poison as a single target. So Yangaruga is going to be the best of this tier, and I think that is probably not even really close, but, you know, it is a very powerful monster, but just going to get outclassed by the rest of the fire monsters. Fire monsters are so blessed in this game. They are by far the best element, and so Yangaruga being able to inflict poison on top of that is just incredibly powerful. Just not quite enough of the rest of the stat spread to be up in that really good tier list. Okay, one monster I forgot to talk about was Jade Baroth. Jade Baroth I'm going to put right here. Jade Baroth is a single target monster, which is very powerful. It does not have any status, unfortunately, so it's just doing that ice damage, but you know, it's actually a pretty good monster. I do enjoy using my Jade Baroth. I have one built. It's a lot of fun monster, a lot of fun things to use with this monster. It's going to be a lot better in the arena because it's an ice monster. It's going to struggle a little bit more, but Jade Baroth is actually pretty good, like pretty surprisingly good. I really enjoy using my Jade Baroth. It's a very fun monster to use. Okay, we're in a really good tier list. These are monsters that will take little to no effort to build. You can kind of do whatever the frick you want with them, except for try to change their element. Don't try to do that. But you can do pretty much whatever the frick you want with these monsters, because these monsters are going to be the top-notch monsters. They are always going to be doing what you need them to do. Some of them do outclass a little bit more than the others, but honestly, this part of the list is very compact and very not so very convoluted. They're all pretty straightforward. We're going to talk about Elder Frost first. Elder Frost has the same problem that Gambith has. It is a multi-target kinship attack with very high survivability, but not so high attack power. It has the lowest crit rate in the game, and it is the slowest monster in the game. But man, oh man, will this thing survive for a very long time. But again, you don't really want that so much in this case in a co-op den, just because you're trying to dish damage, you're trying to defeat the boss. You're not trying to outlive it. But Elder Frost is very good. This thing, I have one. I do have fun using it occasionally, but I don't use it that often in my co-op dens because of this reason. Just because of that. After Elder Frost, it's going to be Basil. My brother built a Basil, and it's very, very powerful. I wish it wasn't... it makes sense that it's a multi-target, because, you know, that's Basil's whole shtick, is it just flies and crashes into everything. But what would make this monster a lot better is if it was still a multi-target, but it either did blast or fire, like burn. Because it does fire damage, but it doesn't give burn. It doesn't have any sort of status on it, and I wish that it did, because this monster would be a lot better if it did. But, you know, Basil's still very good. This monster still owns, and this monster does freaking numbers in the arena, and you'll see that reflected in my arena tier list. This monster does so much better in the arena, it's absurd. Following that, we're going to put the Rathians, the last two Rathians, and I have the Deviant species underneath the Rare species, and the reason for this is because the Rare species have just a little bit higher attack. Everything else is pretty much exactly the same with these monsters, and I've even built both a Dread Queen and a Gold Rathian. The Gold Rathian kind of outplays the Dread Queen by just a little bit, just because it has higher attack value. That is the only reason why Gold Rathian is ahead of Dread Queen. And that's going to be the same way with the Rathlos, as you'll see in a little bit. I'll get to them in a little bit, but it's going to be the exact same way. Silver is going to be better than Dread Queen. Okay, following that, we're going to put Fulgur Anjanath. I love my Fanja. This is my favorite Thunder monster by a long shot. My Fanja is so powerful, it is not even funny. This thing does so much damage. It has access to Bolt Eater, and that's what makes Thunder, honestly, like the perfect middle ground, is that you have Bolt Eater. This thing doesn't have a lot of crit, but you can give it a lot of crit by using like Hunting Horn skills, by using, you know, the critical passive gene. Fulgur Anjanath is so good. I just wish it was faster. If it was faster, like even by 1, I think this monster would be top 5. I really do. This monster is so good. But it's just lacking a little bit of speed, and I wish its crit was maybe just like 1 or 2 higher also, but I love my Fulgur Anjanath. This thing is so deceptively good, because you don't really think it's going to be that good. This thing hits, though. This thing is super, super powerful. It's a multi-target, though, with no benefit, no status. I'm not actually entirely sure how true that is. It might do the same thing as Anjanath, where it might get like a little power bump after it, but I haven't really been paying attention to it, and the thing on Monster Hunter Stories 2 said that it doesn't do anything at all, so I just kind of went off of that, but which is funny because you think I would have realized it because of how much I use this monster. I don't think I ever noticed it doing anything, though, which is why I went with it not doing anything. I did put a little question mark next to it here, though. Oh, no, I deleted the question mark. Just kidding. I had a question mark there once upon a time, but Fulgur Anjanath, very strong. That's the moral of the story. I love this monster so much. Okay, this is where it starts to get a little fuzzy, because now we've kind of reached the point in the tier list where it doesn't really matter so much whether or not if it's a multi-hit or a single hit, because these monsters are just going to be hitting it hard anyways. This is no exception for Lagiacrus. Lagiacrus is a single target monster, but this thing is also very powerful. I don't have one of these. I do have an Ivory Lagiacrus, and so does my brother. Holy crap, Ivory Lagiacrus is so good. Lagiacrus is also very good. It doesn't have any statuses, which is a little sad. I wish that it did, like Para or something, or even just like a I don't know, like a turn buff or something, you know, like a increased power by so much for 2 turns, something like that. I wish it had something like that, but it doesn't, unfortunately, so I'm gonna put Laggy next. After Laggy, I'm gonna put in Glavenus. Glavenus is a fire monster. It doesn't have too great of stats. Like, I don't think its crit is that great. Oh, well, it's alright, but it is a little slow. It is kind of on the slower side, but 7 crit is pretty good. 600 HP is pretty good. Very good fire attack. Its kinship attack is a single target, and this thing definitely does a lot of damage. Again, you should just use Hellblade, though. After Glavenus, I'm gonna put in Ratha here. I think Ratha definitely is stronger than pretty much any fire monster we've seen so far. Obviously, it's not the strongest monster, the fire monster, because we haven't even gotten to the top 5 yet. But Ratha, like I was saying, has better stat values, I'm pretty sure. So this monster is going to be outperforming the rest of the fire monsters that we've seen so far. Single target, no status, which kind of sucks. I wish it was like burn or poison or something, but, you know, we can't all have nice things. But Ratha's probably a good monster. Both my brother and I are in the process of rebuilding Ratha to be very powerful. The hardest thing with Ratha is Ratha requires you to build around one gene, and it's smack in the middle of the board. And it's like not the best fire skill. It's like Savage Fireball. It's not the best thing. Like, there's definitely better options, but there's also worse options. So it's a little annoying to try to build around that. But it's not too bad if you kind of know what you're doing and kind of know what you want to aim for. But yeah, it's just fine. But Ratha, I think, is probably pretty powerful. Following Ratha, I'm going to put in his #1 op, Sergios. Actually, it's Rathian's #1 op. Sergios, I kind of want to put higher because its kinship attack inflicts bleeding. Bleeding is incredibly powerful for co-op dens. I would say it's probably the best of the statuses to inflict. And that's saying something because, like, Noxious Poison is insanely good, Paralysis is pretty good, Sleep is okay, Blast is very good. I think Bleeding is probably the best thing to do with statuses. Bleeding is so powerful. It gives such a huge advantage, especially if you're running a crit monster. You can do some bonkers numbers with a bleeding thing going on. This monster is a lot of fun to use because of that. Bleeding is such a good status. I just wish it was a single target. If it was a single target, Sergios might be close to top 5. But it is a multi-target, so it kind of loses a little bit of value there. Sergios might jump around, you know, I might decide that Sergios is better or worse than some monsters, but right now, that's where Sergios is going to go. Very, very good monster. I love my Sergios. I use this thing pretty frequently, and I built it as like a one-hit KO bleeding kind of thing, so like against the lower tier monsters, you can just Deadly Horn Jab, Toxic Needle it, just immediately kill any monsters that are in the den. But then if, you know, if this is the only monster you can use, it still has access to like bleeding and other head-to-head wins, and it can still do things within its realm of just attacking instead of just one-hit KOing. So Sergios is a super, super strong monster. I do really love Sergios. Following Sergios, I'm going to put Grimclaw Tigrex. Not top 5. Grimclaw Tigrex, better than the normal Tigrex. It does have quite a lot of attack power, and I do like using my Grimclaw Tigrex a lot. This monster is very fun to use. Molten Tigrex is quite a lot better, and I'll talk about him in a minute, but Grimclaw is a very strong, elementless monster with a single target kinship attack, so this monster is going to be excelling a lot in damage. Very, very powerful monster, very fun monster to use. After that, okay, it occurred to me that I forgot to talk about Astalos. I'm going to put Astalos kind of like here. No, I'm going to put Astalos here. Astalos Thunder Monster, not super great. You should just use Bolt Reaver instead, but, you know, it's alright. It's decent speed. Yeah, 12 speed, so pretty fast speed. Second fastest in the game. Pretty good crit rate. Pretty okay thunder attack. I wish it was a little higher, but yeah, single target as well, but no para or anything, so it's kind of going to struggle a little bit on that front, but it's not too bad. And then speaking of Astalos, I'm going to put Bolt Reaver on the other end here, being really good, because it's just everything that Astalos does, but better, because it's a Deviant. It's got the same kinship attack as in a single target. It's just got better stats. I think it's the same speed though. Yes, but it does have 1 additional crit rate, more HP, and more thunder attack. So this thing is like leagues better than the normal Astalos. Following that, we're going to put in our first Elder Dragon. That's going to be Nurgi. Nurgi did a lot better from our testing in arenas than it has in co-op dens. Not by a ton, because Nurgi is still very powerful. It's just lacking just a little bit of crit rate and speed to be able to really push it into that top 5 spot that it needs to be in. My brother's built one, I haven't, but it does a lot better in the arena than it has been doing in co-op dens. We haven't used it as much in co-op dens, and I'm sure it's probably very, very good in co-op dens, but we just noticed that it's been performing better in the arena than it has been in co-op dens. So that's why I have Nurgi down here. After Nurgi, I'm going to put in the Zinogres, the last 2. I'm going to put Thunderlord on the bottom and Stygian up above it. Thunderlord is just better Zinogre by a long shot. It's a deviant. Thunder is a pretty good element to use, but Dragon is better. And in this case, you can use a crit. Let's see here. You can use a crit heal Dragon Eater build with Dragon and get that full bingo. With Bolt Eater, you don't get that with Thunderlord because you have to use 2 Dragon genes on it, so you can't get that full bingo on it. But Thunderlord is very, very good still. Like, one of the best Thunder monsters in the entire game. Stygian's going to be a lot better. Now, if they were put up against each other, Thunderlord is going to stomp Stygian, because Stygian is weak to Thunder, and I think Thunderlord actually resists Dragon. So, like, it's gonna be a bloodbath if these two go up against each other in like the arena or something. Thunderlord will always beat Stygian. But in a co-op den, that's not so much the case. So Stygian, I would say, is the better of the Zinogres. After Stygian Zinogre, I'm going to put in Reijang. Reijang's a very powerful thunder monster that you can do a lot of crazy things with. Reijang has access to so much good like gene fodder and skills to use. Reijang is a very, very good monster. I would say it's probably 3rd best thunder monster in the game. This thing does a lot of work. I haven't built one. My brother was in the process of building one. I don't know how far he got with it, but Reijang's super, super powerful. This is a very, very good monster to use. After Reijang, I'm going to put in the Kirins, both Orochi and normal. Kirin is above Reijang because it has the highest speed and crit rate in the game. So it's just going to be outspeeding and out-critting everything. Orochi Kirin is not quite as good as Kirin because it's an ice monster. That'll definitely change in the arena tier list, but right now Kirin is a lot better than Orochi Kirin and better than the rest of the thunder monsters that we've talked about so far. These monsters are very, very powerful. They're honestly just almost at that top 5, to be honest. They're just missing a little bit of kill power for my liking, but these monsters still do so good. After the Kirins, I'm going to put Devilo. I'm actually going to put Devilo right here. I'm actually going to split these two up and put Devilo in between them. Devilo is a single target. That's the thing with the Kirins as well. They're both single target. None of these monsters have conditions or statuses, though, that happen after kinship attacks. But they're very powerful. Like Stygian Zinogre, Devilo can use the critical things, the crit healing and mass critical. The hard thing with Devilo is he does have a lower crit rate. Then he actually has quite a low crit rate at 2, and he's very slow, but he does have a lot of dragon attack power. And similar, like I was saying, to these other monsters that don't have the best crit rate, you can boost crit rate with hunting horns, with passive genes, with skills, and, you know, like armor skills and things like that. So that's why I have Devilo above Stygian. Realistically, I think Stygian might actually be better, but Devilo has such a higher attack value that I think it evens out a lot better than Stygian Zinogre's does. So I have Devil O above Stygian Snowbird for that reason. Okay, now we have another multi-target in Bloodbath. Bloodbath Diablos is a very powerful raw monster. This monster does a lot better in the arena because it's a multi-target, but even in just co-op dens, this monster does a lot of good things. It has insanely high attack power. I have built my Bloodbath Diablos as a Salt in the Wound build, so if it's suffering from any sort of status at all, I just deal a frick ton of damage. And my brother built a Bloodbath Diablos as just focused on just attacking, and that thing does a frick ton of damage. Bloodbath Diablos is such a good monster, but if it was a single target, it would probably definitely be in top 5, but the multi-target is definitely holding it back just a little bit. But this monster is still super, super good. Okay, now we have Dread King Rathalos and Silver Rathalos. Like I was talking about with the Rathians, the rare species is better than the sub, or the deviant, I mean. It's not by a lot, I don't think, with the Rathalos, because they're both single targets. They don't give burn or poison or anything, which kind of sucks. But they are still super powerful monsters, single target fire. They're very blessed to be fire monsters, so these monsters are going to be very good. My Silver Rathalos, I think I built as a fire strength blackout, I think. So every single gene is a fire strength one, or a fire power. So it's pretty good. The Rathalos are definitely very, very powerful. They're just a little too slow and not quite enough firepower to be up there, but the Silver Rathalos does have very high fire attack, so it does very good things still. After the Rathalos, I'm going to put in Kushala. Kushala is a very interesting monster. It's an ice monster, so you'd think... So here's the weird thing about Kushala. It's an ice multi-hit monster, multi-target monster. Gammoth is also an ice multi-target monster. The reason why Kushala is so much higher is because of what its kinship does. Allied damage reduction. Not just for your monstie, for everyone. All of your allies get damage reduction, which is so insane. That is like divine blessing. That is giving divine blessing to all of your allies. This is such a good thing, and this would be absurd in arenas, I think. I think that this would be one of the best kinships, if not the best kinship skill in the arena. This monster's kinship is nuts, and its ice element, you know, it's not the best element. I would like if this was the condition on like Teostra would be like top 2. But Kushala is insane. This monster is very, very powerful because of that condition or status that it gives. Such a good support monster while being able to still hold up its own attack damage. It does very high attack damage at 591. Ice attack has it's actually pretty speedy at 12 speed, plus the 10 crit rate, highest crit rate in the game, 600 HP, 253 recovery. This monster is so powerful. Its counterpart, Teostra, is just a hair better because it's fire. It is a multi-target kinship attack, which kind of sucks because it also doesn't do anything. It doesn't give burn, it doesn't give blast, nothing like that. So it's going to be struggling a little bit in that department, but, you know, it's not really that big of a deal. Teostra is probably the best fire monster that we have that isn't up there in the top 5 yet. Teostra is such a strong monster, and even if I was going off field skills, it has Roar, which is like, I would say probably the second best field skill to have, behind Stealth. Teostra is just a very, very powerful monster. I freaking love my Teostra. This monster does such good damage. I did forget to talk about Ivory Lagiacrus because I was kind of really up in debate about Ivory Lagiacrus. I'm going to put him right here above Raging. I don't really know why. Ivory Lagiacrus, kind of like the Nursilla situation. Ivory Lagiacrus is a lot better than normal Lagiacrus, and I really don't know why. It is a single target kinship attack, no para, unfortunately, which kind of sucks, but my brother's Ivory Lagiacrus is just this thing is a massacre. And mine isn't fully done, but even the little bit that I do use, it's still so powerful. It's just, it gets outclassed by the Kirin because of the speed and the crit rate, but Ivory Lagiacrus is such a good monster, and I was really tempted to put it up in the top 5, but the more I was thinking about it, the more that I want this other monster to be up in top 5, because I think it's just a hair better than this. We're going to talk about the dogs next, I think. We have 4 dogs left because we used our water dog already. We have 5 dogs, sorry, but one of them we're not going to talk about just yet. The order that I would put these dogs in is Ice, Thunder, Raw, and then Fire. Oop, Fire. The dogs have the highest speed and crit rate in the game. They have very good attack power. The Fire Dog, being a fire monster, it's blessed in that sense. The Ice Dog, gonna struggle a little bit more, but all these monsters have single targets. No effects, which is a little sad, but single targets, super good. Fastest speed and crit. These monsters do so much damage. I've built a Thunder Dog, a Water Dog, and I'm in the process of building a Normal and Fire. The dogs are so good. These monsters are kind of insane. Kind of really insane. I don't know if they meant for them to be insane, but the dogs are just absurd. After the dog, I'm going to put Bracky. Bracky is a menace. This monster is so good. It's a single target that causes Blast Blight. There is only 2 monsters in the game that can do that from their kinship attack. This is one of them. This monster does a lot of damage. And I built my Bracky like I built my Legiana to be a heroics head-to-head winner. So, you know, when you get your kinship up, you just hop on it and just keep bumping down your health until you can just start winning head-to-heads. This monster just does so much damage this way, it's not even funny. And then, yeah, its kinship attack being able to inflict blast. Oh my gosh, this monster is so good. It's just lacking speed. If it was faster, I think this monster would be top 5. I really do, but it's just lacking speed, and that crit rate isn't that good either. But otherwise, its stats are so good. It's got pretty good resistances. It's got great fire attack. It's got pretty good HP. Like, this monster's almost there, but it just either needs quite a few levels of crit or just like 1 or 2 levels of speed, and then it would be there. Okay, we're on to our top 5 monsters. These monsters are the best for co-op dens, I think, hands down. Again, with the co-op den, you can very much change the way that you want to do this, because the co-op den tier list doesn't matter as much. But let's just get into it. First and foremost, we have Silverwind Nargacuga. Highest speed, highest crit rate, stealth ability, single target. This monster's got a lot going for it. And I think its attack power is pretty good for being this fast and that high of crit. This monster freaking slaps. It is absurd how good Silverwind Nargacuga is. This monster does so much good things for you, and you don't even really need to, like... You could even build it as, like, an evasion crit monster, and it would still be top 5. You could build it as a strictly crit monster, top 5. Strictly evade, top 5. Strictly attack, top 5. This monster is so good and consistent, it's not even funny. And then, yeah, I'm not obviously doing the field skills, but it does have stealth. Best field skill in the entire game by a long shot. Silverwind Nargacuga, top 5 monster, 5th best monster in my opinion. I think this monster is insane. Following that, I'm going to put in Velkhana. I adore my Velkhana. Velkhana was my favorite monster for a very long time. Right now it's my 2nd favorite monster. I adore Velkhana, and Velkhana in Monster Hunter Stories 2 is no different in the terms of the power department. This thing hits hard. It is a single hit, or a single target, unfortunately with no status or no effect, but it's an ice monster, and so, like, really, I wonder if it should be behind Silverwind, but it has a higher damage output and higher HP. This monster is just so good. I love my Velkhana so much. I use this thing all the time. This monster, easily top 4. I adore what Velkhana can do in this game. After Velkhana, I'm going to put Molten Tigrex. Molten Tigrex is the other of the 2 monsters that can give Blast Blight onto their enemy from their single target kinship attack. The thing that makes, I think, Molten Tigrex just a little bit better than Bracky to be able to be in this top 5 position is that Molten Tigrex has higher attack, higher speed, and higher crit. I don't know about the speed one, but I know for a fact the crit and power one. Okay, so I was a little wrong. It has the same speed, but it has like 1 or 2 higher crit, more HP, way more attack. Molten Tigrex, it is raw too, so nothing resists it, and you get free Blast Blight on top of it. This monster is so good, and I have a Molten Tigrex built, and I've built it like this to be like something that takes advantage of Blast Blight. But the fact that you can just get Blast Blight off of your kinship attacks, Molten Tigrex is going to do you so many favors in a co-op den. This thing is very, very good. In number 2, I have the Dragon Dog. This is why I didn't talk about the Dragon Dog when I was talking about the other dogs. Dragon Dog is a dragon monster. The nice thing about that, like I was talking about with Devilo and Stygene's and Ogre, you get access to all the critical genes. The dogs have the highest crit rate and speed in the game. You pair that with the dragon element and things you can do with dragon element, this monster just never dies. My brother has a dragon dog that he built to be a crit heal, max critical, and dragon eater dog. This thing just never dies, and it does absurd amounts of damage. It's not even funny how much damage this thing does. This dog is by far the best of them. And it's kind of funny actually looking at the gap between them, because we've got the second best in the Dragon Dog, and then the like super good ones are like, you know, Fire, Raw, Thunder, and Ice. And then like a whole tier and a half down almost, you've got the Water Dog. The Dragon Dog is just absurd. You've got access to so many good things because of Dragon Element. Just incredible monster. I really don't have much to say about it. Coming in at number 1, it's Hellblade Glavenus, and it is not even close. Hellblade Glavenus is absurd. This monster is so powerful. It is a single hit, or a single target, no effect, which does kind of suck. If it gave Burn or Blast Blight, I would put this thing in a separate tier for how good it is. But this monster has such high attack power, very good like crit rate and speed. It's a fire monster, the best element in the game. Hellblade Glavenus is just so good, and I love this monster. Me and my brother have one. We kill Elder Frost in like 6 turns. I'm like not even exaggerating. This thing just destroys, and it has great survivability too, because it's got really high HP, you know, 600 HP, and it's like its other resistances are really good too. This monster just has this monster has everything. It's got pretty good speed, pretty good crit, like, oh, I love Hellblade Glavenus. This monster is so absurdly good, and it's like far outclassing the rest of the monsters, but it is still top 5, but definitely it is the best monster in co-op dens, and I think by a pretty decent margin. Okay, we got through it. That is the tier list for the co-op dens. The arena tier den that I will do later, or the arena tier list that I will do later, is going to be a lot shorter than this, because it'll be off the assumption that you watched this video first, and so you kind of know what the criterias are and things like that. For the most part, the arena tier is going to be kind of the same, but there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be flipped on its head, specifically what the kinship skills do. But this has been my tier list, and I know Stories 3 is around the corner, and so I don't think I'll be able to get anything out in time. I really wanted to do arena tournaments though, and this is why I was kind of working on this tier list for so long, is because I wanted to do arena. I want to do like arena tournaments and stream it and make videos about it and all this fun stuff. I just never got around to doing it, and then life got really stressful, and it still is. I'm so stressed all the time, but it's fine. I am going to do tournaments for Stories 3 though, on the assumption that Stories 3 has arenas. I don't imagine it wouldn't, but in case it doesn't, you know, we can go back to Stories 2 for the arena, and then Stories 3 can be for the other stuff. But I really highly doubt that Stories 3 won't have an arena thing. But if this video blows up, then we'll start tournaments as early as like ASAP, and we will try to get a few tournaments in before Stories 3 comes out in a couple months. But this has been the co-op den tier list for Monster Hunter Stories 2. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Let me know what your thoughts were, if you think that any of the monsters were stupidly placed, or if you think you have a different experience with them. This isn't my definitive tier list yet, but this is a draft of one, and I think that this is a pretty good, reasonable tier list. But hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, like, share, do whatever the other YouTubers tell you to do, the better ones than me, and I will catch you on the flip side.